The floodgates of institutional and sovereign wealth are going to pour into these crypto assets. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Kevin O'Leary makes a really good point about the future of cryptocurrency, but he wasn't a big fan of crypto in the past.
The cryptocurrency topping 8,000 for the first time since July.
Try and do a transaction over $100,000 with Bitcoin. I tried to do some real estate in Switzerland with it once. It is a useless currency.
But something changed him.
You got to remember something. The hottest hands, the best developers in the world have moved over to crypto.
I'm sorry about that. OnlyFans was the only place with that clip available.
If we could just agree on one stable coin between those...
And now Kevin is very pro-crypto. What changed your mind? So I thought about it for a while and decided to start my own investigation. I got it. Now let's take a look at Kevin O'Leary's crypto portfolio. He didn't mention all of them, but he mentioned at least 4, and that's Solana, Helium, HBAR, and Polygon. I'll go over what these coins are, the pros and cons, but don't consider any of this financial advice. It's not. Don't buy any tokens. Please do your own research and form your own opinion before making any investment. Now, Kevin did publish this video in January of 2022. I'm gonna leave a link in the description so you can watch the whole thing if you like. But in this video, we're just gonna condense everything. And I'm also sure Kevin has a less public portfolio where he can seed invest into new projects for those massive gains, which we might get into later in this video.
In individual tokens and coins and chains, I've got 33 different positions.
Spoiler alert, that doesn't happen, but some other stuff does in this video. Number 1, Solana, coin name SOL. Now, Kevin is not the first well-known personality to get involved with Solana. There's also Shaq, and there are plenty of other investors that are holding Solana since it is the 9th biggest cryptocurrency by market cap out of thousands upon thousands of different cryptocurrencies. Now, Solana is a smart contract platform much like Ethereum, but with some noticeable differences like lower fees and much faster transactions. But what some people might not know yet is that Solana also has a physical store in New York with more physical stores to pop up around the world so people can start getting involved into the Solana ecosystem. These are called Solana Spaces, and the purpose of the phone is so you can have a native crypto dApp store on there where you're not paying the fees on the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. Additionally, to expand the Solana ecosystem, they regularly hold boot camps and Solana hackathons. This is just to get more people involved and to grow the ecosystem. But Solana is not without its negatives. Its network is not as stable as some of its competitors, as the network has gone down several times in the past 2 years. That's a pretty big deal when people can't access their funds because the network is down. As for the coin, Solana is inflationary at an 8% rate, but they plan on reducing that gradually down to 1.5% in the future. And if you are using Solana, 50% of each transaction, the fee gets burned. So if we have a lot of transactions happening on Solana, it could become deflationary. And they do need a lot of transactions to make it deflationary because the fees on Solana are very low.
You know, I'm a very fortunate guy. I'm able to call up the leaders of these projects and these teams, and they return my call, and I ask to meet them anywhere in the world.
Now I wonder, is it really that easy to get Kevin O'Leary to invest in your crypto project? Today I present you Dogmoon Coin. It's a metaverse NFT decentralized Web3 liquidity internet protocol. I'm so sorry for wasting your time, Your Highness. I'll be on my way. Polygon, coin name MATIC, which is another coin that Kevin O'Leary has invested in, and if you've heard about him talk about crypto for a podcast in an interview, he'll always almost bring up Polygon, so it's no surprise that it's in his portfolio. Now, major platforms like Disney, Meta, Reddit, Stripe, and more are getting involved with Polygon, and companies are getting involved because Polygon is a scaling platform for Ethereum, which means it makes Ethereum transactions faster and cheaper. So if you think of the Ethereum blockchain as a highway and each block as an individual car, Polygon converts those cars into buses so you can pack in more information into that single block, which means Ethereum can actually process more transactions than it seems. And that's basically what Polygon is doing. You have the fast and cheap transactions on Polygon while having the security of Ethereum. Now on the downside, using Polygon can be more complicated than directly using a layer 1 blockchain like Solana, Ethereum, BNB, and sometimes your only option is to bridge assets from Ethereum to Polygon or vice versa. This can be complicated and intimidating, and with some of the major bridge hacks that have been happening, it makes a lot of people more concerned about using a bridge. But as we see more native support for Polygon, all of that could change in the future, where maybe platforms might natively start supporting Polygon so you don't have to do any bridging. Moving on, Kevin is also invested in Helium, coined HNT. For those unfamiliar, Helium's blockchain allows anyone to build a cost-efficient wireless infrastructure, which is decentralizing the telecom industry. And for the blockchain itself, it uses a consensus algorithm dubbed proof of coverage. This verifies that the hotspots in the network are physically located where they claim and that they are honestly representing the wireless coverage. That's because they want to make sure that people can actually use the network. And having a lot of small antennas everywhere versus a few big ones that are owned by a monopoly make it so that a big company can't take advantage of you. And for those helping out the Helium network by becoming a Helium miner, you are rewarded with HNT tokens. Now, as for the negative points, I think Helium is great, but they grew too fast. They have supplied the network, but they haven't generated enough demand for people to actually use the network. Now, Helium does have plans on making 5G also happen on their network, which will be a huge upgrade, but the network still needs actual users. There needs to be a demand for it. So you can imagine that there are a lot of people mining Helium tokens and getting rewarded. They're all participating on the network, but if there isn't any demand on the other side from people who need to use that token to use the network, the coin will continue to lose value. Now, crazy thing here, this is just me speculating, but what if the Solana phone uses the 5G from the Helium network? That could potentially happen, who knows? Or maybe in the future, you'd be able to connect your iPhone to the Helium network rather than AT&T, Verizon, or whichever phone service you may be using. And then we have Hedera Hashgraph, coined HBAR. Much like Solana, Hedera is a layer 1 smart contract platform with fast transactions and low fees. Now, there are a lot of Ethereum competitors out there that do the same thing, but obviously they have to do something to stand out from the crowd. So besides the usual features of being able to use smart contracts, create NFTs, tokens, Hedera also integrates a decentralized file storage system, and with that decentralized file storage system comes features like proof of deletion, controlled mutability, and time-based expirations. As you can imagine, this has a lot of qualities that actual businesses could be using, which is why Hedera is an enterprise play. Hedera is building the infrastructure to bring in businesses into the blockchain world, and they have partnered with some notable names. On the downside, Hedera is patented and not open source, and the cypherpunks of the crypto world are all about decentralization and open source code. But this is a business, and if we want to see more crypto adoption, having that business control makes sense. Some people see it as a negative, but from an actual business side, it makes a lot more sense if they have control over the company. And they do, because Hedera has 19 governors controlling the direction of the project, whereas on other projects they might have a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization, where thousands of people get together and vote with the tokens they have for the direction of which way the project is going to go, and most of the time the whales control which way the vote goes, so it's not really that decentralized, and having a few people who know what they're doing than thousands of people who might not know what they're voting on. What do you think? Is Hedera the business blockchain play? What about other coins he should have invested in? Overall, he does have some very safe and solid plays. I do see a future in these projects. They are here to last, in my personal opinion, not financial advice. That's just what I think. But let me know in the comments. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, and with that, I hope you got your full value for today.